Hello everybody, I'm Columbia County Manager Scott Johnson, coming to you in front of the beautiful Performing Arts Center here in the Plaza in Evanstown Center to introduce our Year in Review video series. You know, it's hard to believe that another year has passed, and as we reflect on 2024, it's clear that it's been a year full of progress, challenges, and achievements. It comes as no surprise to anyone that the last quarter of the year flew by, especially after we were hit by Hurricane Helene. But thanks to the hard work of our team and our community, we bounced back and we're stronger than ever. We've covered a lot of ground this year and would like to highlight the many ways that we've been working hard to be good stewards of your tax dollars.
This year, all of our public works departments have been incredibly busy. From improving traffic flow to completing both large and small road projects, we've worked hard to make sure our infrastructure is strong and efficient. We've also made significant strides in enhancing water quality across the county. On top of that, we welcome new business into the area. We work closely with our development community to ensure they have the support they need to grow and thrive here.
We have made substantial investments in improving and expanding our parks. We've even seen record-breaking numbers of participation in our youth activities. Our first responders and public safety teams have also been very busy this year. Whether training, acquiring new equipment, or answering an ever-increasing number of calls, our first responders are here to keep you and your family safe. They are nothing short of the best.
This year has also been about collaboration. Our county departments have supported one another in so many ways, especially during recent events. It's a reminder that we are stronger together, and it's one of the reasons Columbia County continues to excel. As we look back on what we've accomplished in 2024, we also want to share what's ahead in 2025. So stay tuned as we unfold the exciting plans and projects for the works of the coming year.
We are committed to continued improvement in Columbia County and in providing our citizens with the best possible services.
And we look forward to gaining on the momentum we've gained this year. Thanks for being part of this journey with us.
So thank you for your continued support. And I hope you enjoy Columbia County's 2024 Year in Review.
I'm Deputy County Manager Glenn Kennedy, and I would like to spend some time talking to some of the division directors and department heads with whom I work about the accomplishments that they've had this past year. So let's go ahead and get started right here in procurement. We're at the Columbia County warehouses and the procurement offices. With me today is Ms. Leanne Reese. She is a division director for the Internal Services Division. Leanne, a lot of people probably don't know what that means. Could you tell us a little bit about the Internal Services Division?
Sure. So within my division are 5 departments, and mostly they do serve the internal departments of Columbia County. That's why it's called Internal Services. We have finance, procurement, risk management, fleet services, and public transit.
So a wide variety,
yes.
Wide breadth of areas of expertise. So this has been a busy year for you. A lot of things going on, many accomplishments. I understand that the finance department is now the holder of the Triple Crown Award. Can you explain what that is?
Yes. So there's an organization called the Government Finance Officers Association, and they are in the United States and Canada, and they basically are a standard setting body and really encourage transparency and good financial reporting. This past year we decided to submit a popular annual financial report, and that basically takes information that's from our annual report and just gives a brief summary of the finances that is more user-friendly, user-understandable, not so technical with all the accounting standards that are needed for the act firm. So we did receive the award for that, and because we got all 3 awards from the GFOA, we are now Triple Crown winner.
Now that's very uncommon, right?
Yes. My understanding, in fact, I checked for 2023, I could not find another county in the state of Georgia that received the award.
I think it's been like 5 years
Right.
since someone
There's
has.
several cities, but
Right.
no other county.
Okay,
So we're
great.
very proud of that.
So we're in the warehouse because procurement also falls within your
Yes.
division. So tell me about what they accomplished this year.
They also received an award this year from the National Procurement Institute, and it was the Achievement for Excellence in Procurement Award. They have received that award for 2 years in a row, and we hope to receive it ongoing in the future as well. So we're very proud of their accomplishment. Fleet also received an award this year for outstanding fleet services.
Now, Fleet is also responsible for heading up the program that they do at the schools.
Yes.
Tell us about that, because that was a magnificent job
Yes.
that they did this year.
So I think this was the 4th year that we've done that, and it's through the CTAE program with the schools. We had over 200 students participate, and it's basically just a competition among all the high schools that have those types of programs within them. We held a competition back in February for that. It's very successful. The businesses within Columbia County absolutely love it. They just love coming out and seeing the kids, and they're hungry for, you know, new talent. So it really gives these kids a chance to showcase their talent in front of area businesses.
So as I look around this warehouse, I think back to about 60 days ago. It was a hub of activity.
Yes.
And that was because we were in the midst of recovering, or the actual initial recovery from Hurricane Helene. That included many of your departments.
Yes.
So tell us about the work that your departments did during Hurricane Helene and immediately thereafter.
So Fleet was instrumental in keeping all of our vehicles going, keeping the generators going. Without the generators, we would have been down, especially like for communication purposes. And it was quite challenging because of the roads being closed, several of them, we couldn't get fuel in. Right. So we had to get creative. We could get through the roads and get fuel out to the vehicles, fuel out to the generators. We had to contact businesses that we don't normally deal with to help us get fuel. And Fleet worked round the clock, 24/7. They slept there, they ate there, they were on call for whatever was needed.
Well, they did, and you speak to the generators that needed the fuel for us to be able to command and control and communicate, but that was also critical for water, which is absolutely
Yes.
essential, which never went down, largely because those generators stayed fueled.
Yes.
But what about some of the other departments?
Procurement was instrumental as well. They handled a lot of the citizen involvement with the donations. They helped with FEMA donations. They also just went to the store and bought supplies for Fleet, for example, or anything that was needed at the EOC. They just kept going, whatever we needed, and they had someone in the EOC at all times, 24/7, to just do whatever was needed. Then we had public transit.
Right.
They were available to transport any citizens that needed to get to some of our shelters, so they were on standby the whole week helping with that. And we had risk management that was out assessing the damages to county facilities and county properties so that we could, apply for an insurance claim or with the FEMA claim. So they were all very, very busy.
Right, and then we had the routine tasks that had to continue, the payment of employees.
Yes, payroll
payment
occurred.
of bills. But I just want to say that the work that you and your team did, all the departments that fall under you, was absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
The work that they did during the hurricane, after the hurricane, it's unmatched, and I truly appreciate it. The county appreciates it. We're at the construction site for Columbia County Fire Rescue's newest station, Station 2, and with me today is the Department Chief, Chief Jeremy Wallen. Chief, this has been a very busy for you and your entire department, the Fire Services Division as a whole, to include 311. This year has seen a lot of growth and addition of new equipment, but let's just talk call volume a minute. What does the call volume look like this year?
Our call volume looks about 10,000 by the end of the year, which is about 2,000 over last year.
And I assume that was greatly impacted by Hurricane Helene?
About 800 calls that first week. So yeah, that made a big difference there.
Right. You talk to me a little bit about the acquisition of equipment and obviously the construction of this new station.
Sure. Well, through some SPLOST projects and other grant funding, we've been able to purchase which are on site and in production currently, 4 different fire pumpers and a ladder truck, as well as our largest rescue ever coming in here in the next couple of months. And then obviously the construction of this new station and the work that we and the various county departments did to get our spare location set up. That was a pretty significant project as well, preparing an old building to be a fire station. And it's been very comfortable.
So Chief, this station is much different than the station that was here. So obviously there's been improvements made because the station that we had was pretty old. I think it may have been one of the oldest ones. What's going to be different about this station than the old one?
The old station had been added on to things like that so many times. Just to go from one room to the other, you had to go outside and around and back in. It didn't have a good, comfortable flow for the fact that people live here 24 hours a day. It needs to be as much like a professional home as possible. But also, we have so many advanced technology components that we wanted a facility that truly took advantage of that. So we have all of the protective measures here for carbon monoxide. We have all of our technology-driven mapping, dispatch systems, alerting systems, and all of that are going to be delivered throughout the station, even in the bedrooms. This will house 13 personnel if needed. There's 3 large bays. We'll be able to store even 100-foot aerial platforms here if needed to manage growth and change. So that just the overall footprint, we believe we've combined the professional living so that we can have comfortable employees when they're not working. It is a multi-story and elevator. It's designed around the ability to train inside and out. But then again, the outdoor space, we have a grilling area in the back. Again, you have to have professional living.
Well, I know your team is looking forward to it, and they most certainly deserve it. I know that one of the big accomplishments this year was the acquisition or the movement of, or assuming of duties rather, of the 911 dispatch functions for EMS, rolling that into our dispatch functions. Could you tell me about that?
Yeah, so previous to January of this year, EMS dispatching ambulances was out of Gold Cross's own dispatch center. So it required an extra few steps in the process in order to work through a call between the transfers from 911 over to their dispatch. And then also having multiple dispatch centers can be less than efficient on an incident scene. While that does benefit the citizen, we found that we were typically actually over-responding with equipment between the 2 different dispatch centers. So when they merged into one, you have one command and control, one decision-making spot. There's only one phone call. You dial 911, you're speaking directly with those dispatchers that are emergency medical dispatch trained, using the latest software and technology, and able to manage the resources so the right amount and the right kind of resources are delivered. So much, much more efficient. We've seen great improvements there.
Let's talk about 311 a minute. We talked about the call volume that dispatch gets. What's the call volume look like for 311?
311 call volume has been steady. There's not a lot of hold times. However, their online time has increased significantly because there's a lot more electronic use. So use of the various counties' ways to access information. Most non-emergency information does go through 311. So through those various platforms that are adding, we're trying to stay, on the edge of what the citizens need to be able to get answers very quickly, but still to those incredible experts in 311. So it's just been more consistent than overpowering. They've handled it very well.
I want to say personally, I was with you and a few other people in the EOC the night that the hurricane hit, and the performance of you and your team was nothing less than stellar. Those guys and gals proved themselves that night. If they do every day, but that night in particular, that was a challenge they had to rise to, and they did it well.
Absolutely, dangerous conditions. The first time in history we've had to stop responding for a period of time. I couldn't be more proud of the folks that allow me to be their chief.
Right, and when we did have to quit responding, I mean, I heard that was painful for you. That was a painful decision to make. There's people calling who need assistance, and the weather just wouldn't permit it because it was so dangerous. But as soon as you could, you guys were back on it, responding to calls, and again, just an outstanding performance. Columbia County endeavors to provide premier recreational facilities to its patrons and citizens. This past year has seen a continuation of immense investment in those programs. Today, we are at Patriots Park at a tennis court that has been newly renovated. So these projects that I'm talking about can either be new projects or they can be renovations. To get an update on the current renovations, John Luton, the Division Director for Community Services, will provide an update. John?
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. We've recently gone through some major renovations of several tennis courts throughout the county. We are here today at Patriots Park, which is a 9-court renovation, which included all new court surfaces, some drainage improvements, new LED lighting, new fencing and windscreens. In addition to Patriots Park, we've also renovated the courts at Riverside Park. We are currently in the process of renovating the tennis courts at Lonnie Morris Park out in Appling. So a major renovation project, an investment in tennis in the community. This is on top of the acquisition last year of the formerly Petersburg Racket Club, now known as the Columbia County Racket Center.
A sport that's grown popularly wild in the past several years is pickleball. What can you tell me about pickleball? What are we doing in terms of either renovating courts to convert them into pickleball courts or the new build of pickleball courts?
Yeah, it is fast. It is the nation's fastest growing sport, pickleball. And up until now, we've only been able to utilize tennis courts to paint pickleball lines. We've done some pickleball courts inside of the gym at Patriots Park. We've done what we could internally to try to feed that desire of pickleball players. Well, now we're going to have our own standalone pickleball complex, and that's going to be at the Columbia County Racket Center. It's currently under construction and should be opened up early in 2025. Probably looking at early spring for an opening out there. 10 pickleball courts, standalone for pickleball.
A question that we're being asked quite often, what's the status of the Greenway?
And so the Greenway is now fully open. We've cleared all trees that were blocking the pathway. There is still some damage that needs to be addressed, mainly with some asphalt that's got damaged or destroyed. Some of the bridges need some work done to them. So those things are still going to be a work in progress. However, the Greenway is fully open and accessible.
Outstanding. A lot of people don't know this, John, but you and your team provided invaluable service during the hurricane. Your folks ran the shelter. They serviced over 1,700 people. You also ran points of distribution, handing out MREs, water, and other goods. I just want to say, and that was from all of your divisions, but I just want to say I'm very proud of you guys, and you did a super job representing the county.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very proud of how the team responded to the hurricane. As you mentioned, the shelter, the points of distribution, even our parks guys getting out, trying to get parks open as quickly as possible, because that is something people wanted right away. So really proud of the response to that. I think it's a testament to the type of people that we have working in the division and in the county and the pride that they take. And keep in mind, they were dedicated to come and help the community when they still had their own personal stuff to deal with at their home too. So it's just, again, a testament of the type of employees that we have here in Columbia
Absolutely.
County.
One of the mainstays in the Columbia County Recreational Facilities inventory is the Patriots Park Gymnasium. Today I'm joined by Jason English, the athletic coordinator for Columbia County. Jason, this facility also underwent several part of the renovations and has had renovations done to it a number of times. Recently, it had more renovations. Could you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we actually just installed, just a few days ago, completely new goal fixtures all throughout the gym, as well as new wall padding. That is a small part, a small phase of a lot of improvements that are getting ready to happen here at Patriots Park. We're talking a brand new court, all new bathrooms, all kinds of new fixtures, and just complete upgrade and a facelift to a facility that has needed it for quite a while.
I know we're always looking to improve it, and I think the important thing for people to remember too, that this also serves as a shelter. Mm-hmm. So keeping bathrooms and the facilities themselves in top working order is important.
Absolutely.
And it was you and your team that ran the facility, the shelter facility. You guys did a tremendous job. You know, one of the things that I'm enormously proud of in your accomplishments and your team's accomplishments is this ever-growing trajectory that we are on for participation in youth sports and youth activities. I think we topped 9,000 last year. That was over about 8,200 last year.
Correct.
That in itself is an accomplishment. But what challenges does that growth present to you, with the understanding that we have a set number of fields? What challenges in terms of practices, coaching, your staff, and other facilities such as parking or the fields themselves? How does that impact you and your team?
Yeah, absolutely. People may or may not know the athletics team is very small. We have a team of 5 coordinators, a supervisor, and myself that organize programs for like you said, just over 9,000 people throughout the year. And that's just leagues and programs. We're not talking camps. We're not talking about after-school activities and adult programs in that as well. This constant growth presents a lot of challenges, some that the public very well may see, including parking and field space allocation for private groups. Our philosophy is we really don't want to turn anybody away. And so it is a constant struggle for us to find opportunities to continue to meet this growth head on.
Right.
And that's something that we want to continue to do. The county's growing, which means our department needs to figure out a way to house everybody that wants to play. And that's our ultimate goal.
Great. Look, I'm enormously proud of you and your team. You guys do an incredible job, and it should amaze everyone of the job that you do with as few people as you have.
Absolutely.
That just speaks highly of the professionalism and excellence that they exhibit. So thank you for your time today.
Yep. Thank you.
Columbia County has such premier recreational facilities and public spaces. Today we're at one. This is the market, and with me today is Janet Wheatley, the manager for programs and events. Janet, can you tell us something about the market? When was it opened, and what have we been using it for?
We opened the market this year in April. Evans Market started years ago, and I think we've been slowly moving in this direction because this is the new home, the new location, the new hub for that Evans Market. It's also a rental facility that you can rent throughout the year as well.
So I know the market is actually, it's so big you have to take a lot of the vendors and put them out in the grassy area. But what other type of events take place in the market, or what could someone rent it for?
Weddings, we've done community events. We had an event with dogs, food trucks. We did our events with Experience Club. We played bingo out here. The PAC has used it as well to do like a pre-party for some of their programs as well. So it's got a lot of opportunities and things that you can utilize it for events or rental type events.
So we've probably just seen the beginning of that. But the one thing I do want to remind people of is the fact that the market was also the location for the point of distribution during the hurricane, and that which was actually run by our Performing Arts Center staff as well as some of your staff to help run that. We really appreciate the work that you and your team do in putting on events and programs. Phenomenal work, because you do it not only here, but you do it at Evanstown Center Park and Memorial Park and wherever else we can do it.
Correct.
So real quick, tell us about some of those events.
This year is the first year with the new Market Pavilion, and it's probably a groundbreaking year, I would say. The largest number of vendors that we've ever had, largest number of attendants that we've had, and I think that's a lot to do with this new facility that we opened, because it's given it a community, a home, a location. There's lawn games, there's music. It just makes it a great event. And then of course throughout the year we host tons of holiday events. We host Food Truck Fridays. We host all kinds of events throughout at least 1 or 2 a month. We try to provide tons of activities and events and programs, not just for one age group, but to cover the entire community.
Well, great job by you and your staff. You guys have made this location wildly popular, and it is outstanding the work that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
While building new parks is a priority, taking care of our existing parks is also extremely important to us. Today we are at Blanchard Park, one of our oldest, if not the oldest parks that we have. And at that park we've made substantial improvements. We have today at the playground that we're standing at one of the most innovative and creative and newest playgrounds to date in Columbia County. With me today I have Dennis Hodges, who is the Deputy Director for Community Services. And Dennis, I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the improvements that you made at the park and the improvements you're going to make. So this is, as I said, one of the most creative and unique playgrounds. Can you tell us a little bit about it and why you chose this?
We wanted something completely unique, so we partnered with Bliss Products out of Atlanta and ID Sculpture out of Colorado, and this was designed specifically for Columbia County. You won't find this playground anywhere else in the country. We wanted to incorporate natural play structure feel to it, so we have rocks, we have trees, we have animals carved into the rocks. This specific playground is broken up into 3 sections. We've got the main structure where we're at right now for five-year-olds and above. We have our large climbing rock, which is up the trail a little ways, and that's for 5-year-olds and above. And then we have the smaller section, which is down the trail for basically 3 to 5-year-olds. The intent behind it not only was natural, but also for you to come out, utilize the trails. That way kids can explore, play, and not just be confined to one small play structure like we have in a lot of our other parks.
So this unique structure goes in well with the terrain, the surrounding terrain. So a lot of trees in this area. We just had a hurricane.
Correct.
Any damage?
So the dog park took some significant damage. We're in the process of trying to get that repaired. Our main large climbing rock that I mentioned a minute ago took a direct hit from a tree. It's still usable, but we do have to get it repaired. We're working with the group out of Colorado is going to come in and spend about 5 days here and repair that structure. We hope to have that done in January, February.
So you also mentioned the dog park. That's a new structure on this side of the park.
It is as well. And we've got 2 sections. We have a large dog section and a small dog section.
Okay. And then, so what other improvements are forecasted for this park?
So on the other side of the park, the original Blanchard Park, we're in the planning stages now of renovating that. Basically, we're looking at pickleball courts, soccer fields. We need additional multi-purpose fields. So that's the plan over there. We currently, like I said, we're designing that as we speak. You
and your team have done an outstanding job. The personal effort that you put into the parks is admirable and definitely worthy of praise. And I know that our citizens and the kids especially really enjoy this park. And we really thank you for all of your work.
Yeah, thank you. This was probably one of the most exciting projects we've done since I've been here, is this playground, just because the uniqueness of it and then the feedback we've gotten from parents about how unique it is and how much kids love just coming out here and climbing around on everything.
We're at Columbia County's Wildwood Park. With me is Mr. Wes Horton, the Park Operations Manager. Wes, let's talk a little bit about Wildwood Park. It's got over 60 campgrounds, 3 disc golf courses, I believe, 6 boat ramps, and a host of different activities, playgrounds, etc. It also serves as a host location for many fish tournaments, and I think that we actually held an archery competition at some point.
We have.
So it's a very widely used and popular facility. But over this past year, could you tell us a little bit about some of the improvements that were made and what we have in store in the future?
In Wildwood Park, we have gone through extensive renovations throughout the campgrounds. One being here in Area 1, and we have added a playground to this campsite area. It did not have a playground before. It was our largest campsite that did not have access to a playground.
This one in particular?
This one in particular,
Okay.
yes. So we added the playground for these campsites that did not have one, as well as in Area 1, we added new campsite amenities featuring a lantern hanger, picnic tables, fire rings. All of these are brand new to every campsite we have throughout the Wildwood campground. In Area 1, we also finished paving our service roads to every campsite. That used to be gravel. We used to have a lot of washout problems, so that enhanced our campground, not only in Area 1, but in Area 2 and Area 3 with the paving project.
I see. And all of these campsites in particular have power and water. Is that correct?
They are. We are not a full hookup with access to sewer, but years ago we did a renovation project with our dump station and added a huge 3-bay dump station.
Right. Any other improvements going to be made at this point?
At this time we are undergoing renovations in Wildwood Area 3 campground. We're redoing the bathrooms in both of those, men and women's, and that'll complete our restroom renovation in Wildwood.
We all know that about 60 days ago we got hit with a pretty significant hurricane, and that hurricane obviously did extensive damage out here at Wildwood Park. How bad was the damage? What's been the impacts? Does anything remain closed? Just give us a whole rundown on that. If something is closed, when could we anticipate it being operational?
Sure. The impact to the campground was huge. It was devastating. Cutting out closure to every part of the park. We had to cut our way in to the park to just start assessing any damages that we took on. From uprooted trees to busted water lines to smashed electrical panels, all is having to be dealt with at this time. So for now, all campsites remain closed until further notice. We're hoping by spring of 25 that we're back up and running, if not before then.
Right.
The boat ramps are back open, and we're able to host some fishing tournaments and just your everyday recreational boat use. We did have a fishing tournament this past weekend that they were able to take advantage of the boat ramps.
Outstanding. You know, in closing, I just want to add that you and your team were instrumental in the success that we had in reacting to the hurricane and taking care of our citizens. Very proud of the job that you guys did and the job you continue to do in getting the facility back up. But thank you very much for all the work you and your team did. Much appreciated. Columbia County provides premier services and programs to its citizens. Those programs and services would be difficult at best, if not impossible to do, without the technology that lies behind it. Joining me is Michael Blanchard, the Division Director for Technology Services. Michael, a lot of people may not know what Technology Services Division entails or how it's comprised. Could you give us a rundown on that?
Absolutely. Technology Services has got 4 separate departments, and they all handle different aspects of technology. We've got our broadband utility. They're responsible really for the fiber backbone that we have that stretches really across the southeast United States. We also have the Information Technology Department, and as you know, they're more of a traditional IT function. They handle our cybersecurity, our desktop replacements, printer replacements, software. The things that people may think of as mundane technology services, that's what they do. We've also got geographic information systems. that's responsible for computerized mapping. And while that sounds simple, there's a lot more to it. They do different modeling activities. They use drones in order to capture photography. And yes, they do make maps as well, but we're very proud of everything that they do. And then our training department manages our training activities. That is things as mundane as Microsoft Office, defensive driving, all the way up to being a key component in our information security awareness program.
Outstanding. So this has been a busy year. A lot of tasks ahead of us, a lot of construction, which I know entails a lot of work by your departments. But talk to us about some of the accomplishments of each of those departments and the great things that they've managed to do this year.
I'll start with GIS. It's all about the mapping. We have to keep track of all the underground fiber, all the other underground utilities that we have, as well as doing drone flights. Right now they're capturing drone flights and video footage of the different construction projects that are underway. The IT department has really had a banner year where infrastructure is concerned. We've replaced our network core this year, which has been a massive undertaking. Most people don't realize all the things that have to take place behind the scenes in order for them to get their email. So these simple things that people take for granted require a lot of heavy lifting on the back end, and IT has been doing a tremendous job with those activities this year. I can't say enough about the training department and the work that's done there. It's an army of one. It's one person, and she does an amazing job. What she's done essentially is managed an effort that enables us to keep all of our personnel up to date on the latest and greatest for cybersecurity awareness. And that essentially means that she does training classes and we do phishing campaigns. And that's important. It's an integral piece of keeping our data safe to regularly test our employees on their knowledge of cybersecurity to make sure we don't click on a link that could bring down the county network.
So one of the things that I've heard in the moments you've discussed this is an underlying recurrence of redundancy, survivability, making the network, developing the network in terms of services, in terms of transport, in terms of data management and service, making it to the point where it's redundant and it's there when we need it. I don't think any test has been given to the extent that Hurricane Helene gave us a test. Your networks, your transport, our mapping services, all of that was absolutely critical. And we're standing in the EOC, which you were with me the night of the storm. You were with me then, and this was a hustle and bustle place of activity for the ensuing weeks, actually. And none of that would have been possible without the systems that everyone in here relied upon to get the job done. Without the work that you guys did do, all of that would not have been able to happen. Here's the burning question I have. Your radio networks didn't go down. Your transport networks didn't go down. You had internet connectivity when almost everyone in the county did not. Your data systems stayed up. Nothing really went down at all. Why? Why did you have the success when you're doing it with such few people? But what do you attribute the success to?
Okay, I think the success really can be addressed in layers because broadband was really our foundation for that. And when I say layers, I could even expand that by saying that we had so much success because the fiber is underground. This means that when trees were falling and taking out power lines and taking out some of our other local connectivity providers, we were able to stay up. And that means that our internet access stayed up because our POP, or our main internet center here in the county, and its connections are all underground. So all that stayed up and running.
Right.
As far as the public safety radio network is concerned, our towers were intact. And again, it's also powered through broadband.
Suffice it to say, it took the people to get the systems in place so that those systems could be used by all the people who were in here, by our EMA director and by all the directors and folks that we had working in here, to include community partners. But it was an outstanding job. I know I'm very proud of you and your team and all the efforts that they've done to build that redundancy, path diversity, everything that's important for us to stay up and have the systems when we need it the most, because that was not a concern.
We didn't have problems with systems not working because our IT systems, they're well designed, they were up and running. And GIS really from day one, when they arrived on the scene, they started contributing. So with broadband at that foundational layer, IT working on the broadband network, right, and having our systems in place at our data center, and then GIS using the tools that they use in order to help us to figure out how do we respond to this emergency. The whole team was operating and functional. I can't be prouder than I am right now.
Outstanding work. Thank you for joining me and allowing me to share with you some of the many accomplishments of our professional team. It's been a hard year, it's been an exciting year, and we look forward to accomplishing even more for you, the citizens of Columbia County, in 2025. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Matt Schlachter, Deputy County Manager for Columbia County, and we'd like to take an opportunity to talk about some of our accomplishments in 2024 and talk about some of our vision for 2025. And today we're going to start out with Byron Sullivan out here on Lewiston Road. So Byron, we're standing in the middle of Diverging Diamond. So tell us about the project out here on Lewiston Road.
Well, this is the first Diverging Diamond in the Augusta area, and it's been a godsend. It's a great flow for the interstate and the main line of Lewiston Road. We used to have a lot of backup traffic out here. We don't have no more backup traffic. It flows great, and it's just been a great location to work for the DDI.
Great. So when this project started, the bridge was I believe 4 lanes, 2 lanes each direction, but Lewiston Road was not. It was 1 lane each direction. So tell us about what Lewiston Road looks like now.
Well, it's 2 lanes on each side going north and south, and you got your left turn lanes and your decel lanes, and all your intersections has got great improvement. You got a lot of dual lefts on your major intersections, William Few and Columbia Road, and it's just been a great flow, and it's a great safety design too, with the divided highway in the middle. We got sidewalks on both sides, and you got a lot of pedestrians out here walking them. You can see them during the day and the afternoon. And we got a lot of compliments on the project of sidewalks and just project in general.
How do we fund this project, Byron?
This is a TIA project, and it's been funded through them, and the project is approximately about a $22 million project.
$22 million. It's a big money. So we started asking for this project back in, I believe, 2010 when we had our first TIA vote. So that TIA vote, again, happened back in 2010 is when we asked the public to support this project through the TIA program. And the voting majority of the region said yes, and so now we have this TIA project, and this is a result of the support of the citizens for TIA. So thank you for support. It's a godsend to have that kind of program to handle traffic issues that we have, to put projects like this Diverging Diamond in place, to add sidewalks, to add capacity, to add throughput. So. What else about the project? Anything else we want to talk about, Byron, on the project?
I think in general, it's just been great for the traffic flow of Columbia County. It's just been a great improvement.
So Byron, thank you for telling us a little bit about Lewiston Road. So we're off to the next one. We'll see you there. Out here at Flowing Wells Road, Wheeler Road, Mason McKnight Jr. intersection. I'm with Brian Harrington with our road construction department. We've been working on this project for a few years now. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we did here?
Well, we didn't have the center turn lane and didn't have a lot of decel lanes where traffic could get out of the way where people making their turns. We added lanes on Mason McKnight and on Wheeler just to accommodate the traffic and make the traffic flow a lot better.
How does putting a center turn lane in help traffic flow? Because we didn't add additional through lanes. So same number of through lanes, but we added that center turn lane. What does that do for us?
It let the traffic that is turning get out of that through lane and get over in the middle to open up the through lane so the traffic can keep flowing as they were waiting to turn, to make their left turn. It just gives them a place of refuge to sit and wait before they make their turn.
We put our right turns in, left turn lanes in. Of course, this intersection looks completely different. What all did we do here? We did a lot more than one turn lane.
We added the left turn lane here and a right turn lane on that side, and the through lanes, now we have 2 instead of 1.
Gotcha. You got a couple extra through lanes coming off of Mason McKnight Jr. also as well?
Yep.
So our stage 1 was utilities, which you weren't here for that part of the project. So we tried to get some of the utilities out of the way. So obviously we had to relocate water and sewer and storm. And you have to do all that while keeping all of your water and your sewer and your storm active, right? So we couldn't just go close all the water lines, build new ones and be happy. We had to keep everything functional. So it's hard to build everything exactly as shown on paper, so we have to make adjustments as we're building. That's where you come into play, right? And that's some of your key points of you being out here, is to make sure that we're making adjustments on the fly, keep this project moving. So as we were building this, obviously we found things we weren't aware of during design. So tell us about how you adjusted during construction to solve the problems that were not satisfied during design.
Well, one of the big things was down at Augusta Pratt where the storm was supposed to go, and they couldn't put it there because of other things that were in the way. We ended up having to go back behind Augusta Prep and build a storm pond, a storm ditch to get the water going where we need it to, and then come back and redesign the storm sewer to accommodate where everything was.
So working around real life scenarios, so you find things, you have to adjust on the fly, you have to redesign as you're going. That's tough to do. Another coordination problem is people live on this road. You got to keep access to their houses. So how did you do that? How do you widen a road in front of somebody's house and still get them in and out of their driveway every day?
Well, we had to keep communications with every homeowner and occupant of the houses to be sure we didn't block their driveway when they were coming in and out, and only work with a limited number of driveways each day. So that way if we had to run back and open one for somebody, we could be sure they had access to get in and out.
So building this project, you had to keep traffic flowing. You had to keep people getting in and out of their houses. You had to keep all the utilities going, and you had to build a road all at the same time.
In the middle of 2 schools getting in and out every day.
Very good point. 2 schools. So every day you had parents dropping kids off, and every day you had parents picking kids up. And 2 schools.
And it was 2 known times that were going to be very congested for an hour and a half, 2 hours out of the day, in the morning and in the afternoon every day. It's just going to be a standstill.
It's tough to work at night because, like we mentioned, people do live here, so they didn't want dump trucks and motor graders and backhoes in their front yard running in the middle of the night. So you had limited daytime hours. You got people living in their houses, so they don't want people working in front of them in the middle of the night, making noise with excavators and dump trucks and motor graders.
Backup beepers.
Backup alarms. You got 2 schools that are putting kids in school and letting kids out of school. You got utilities you got to work around, so all that results in a project that takes time.
Yeah, and we did end up paving some at night. We communicated with the residents, let them know that the nights that we were going to be out here paving, and by that point they were all happy to see whatever it takes to get it done, let's go. And so it worked out well at night doing the paving.
So overall, when the project was finished, we ended up with right turn lanes, we ended up with left turn lanes, we ended up with sidewalks on both sides of the road to connect these homeowners to the schools and to shopping facilities such as the ones we're around now. Additional capacity. We had mast arms now, much bigger intersections. I know we're at the other end, but on the far end down here, we have Columbia Road intersection. That intersection is a lot different. We have dual left turn lanes.
We realigned it with the section of Columbia Road across the road to Flown Wells extension between the car lots. It aligned it a lot better, so you're not going in at such an angle.
It helps with traffic flow. I'm sure we've probably seen a reduction in accidents out there. I know prior to this project, we had a lot of accidents out there because of people trying to figure out what lane they were supposed to be in. We got the dual left turn lanes down there if you're headed northbound, we didn't have before. That's really flowing traffic a lot better than we did beforehand. We've got a better alignment. We've got right turn lanes down there as well. We've got mast arms, so we don't have the cables across the road that we do now, similar to what we have here. So overall, a lot of improvements to that intersection as well.
And the alignment improved the sight distance approaching the intersection too for everybody coming from every direction.
So Brian, this project was funded through our T-SPLOST program. This was part of T-SPLOST 1, so I believe it was about a $20 million project.
Yep.
$20 million project. So I know it was long, it was tedious, it was tough to live through, and now we have a really good project. We're flowing traffic, it's safer. This is a very beneficial project to Columbia County. I know it took a while, it was a very tedious project. Thank you to the residents that lived through this. Your support was tremendous. Thank you for working with our staff. Thank you for just bearing with us as we went through this. This was a T-SPLOST project, so thank you to our citizens for supporting T-SPLOST. Without that program, projects like this wouldn't happen. So continue to support the T-SPLOST. Thanks again for your support. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey, we're out here on Furious Ferry Road, and this is Kelly McDaniel. Kelly, you've been out here on Furious Ferry Road for quite a while now. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, we've been out here since June of 21, and right now we're working from Evans to Locks, pretty much all the way to Southern Pines, various other areas past Hardy McManus. Paving's going on right now, the culvert's going on. We're trying to make some progress, and I think that it's coming along pretty good, especially after the storm that we just had encountered.
Right. So we had a 2-lane road. Now, what are we going to have when you're done?
You'll have a 10-foot multi-use path on one side and a 6-foot or 5-foot sidewalk on the other, and that will be all the way to Hardy McManus Road. You're going to have 2 lanes both directions and a turn lane in the middle, and you'll have a 10-foot multi-use path on one side and a 5-foot sidewalk on the other with bike lanes also.
And I believe we're going to light the pathway, the multi-use path?
Yes, it'll be fully lit.
Fully lit, so we'll be able to use it at night. And from what I understand, we're doing a new program with Georgia Power on those lights, where those lights will actually dim at a certain time at night, and as people are using it, they'll get brighter. So that's a new way of conserving power and keeping the path usable at night. So it's a pretty good idea.
And safer also.
So what are some of the problems you've experienced so far during this project?
Most of our problems have come from utilities, utility relocations, unforeseen utilities that we have run into, and that's kind of what's really stalled this job a little bit more than usual.
So trying to keep existing utilities functional while building a whole new set of utilities.
That's correct.
So we're right here at the intersection of Mulliken Road, North Bel Air Road. I see you've got mast arms up. Are we doing mast arms at all of our signals?
Yes, we are.
So what's the benefit of the mast arms over a traditional strain pole?
Well, the mast arm poles, they give you a better visual, and they also are easier to service. And we also have one that's going up at the fire station, and it gives them more of a control of being able to get in and out on emergency circumstances.
I got you. So behind us we have the intersection of Hardy McManus and Furious Ferry.
Yes.
Signal, roundabout, what are you doing here?
We're doing a roundabout.
Doing a roundabout. So we're going to have all the existing traffic will be able to flow without having to worry about left turns impeding on each other. So that'll be a lot safer. Roundabouts are definitely safer, a lot less conflict points.
Yes.
We'll be able to expand that in the future for growth if growth occurs.
That is correct.
So Kelly, this is a TIA project, correct?
It is.
So funded by TIA Collections. I think our overall budget was close to $50 million, buying right of way and design.
That's correct.
So overall about a $50 million project. So again, funded through T-SPLOST. So again, funded by the support of Columbia County citizens. Thank you for supporting T-SPLOST. It's able to provide projects like this to the community by supporting T-SPLOST. So anything else we need to know about this project, Kelly? When are we going to wrap it up?
We're hoping that we can wrap it up by the end of 25 or the beginning of 26. That's what we're trying for.
So the end is getting close. It's been tough. It's been hard. We appreciate your support on this project as well. I know it's aggravating, but we got to break eggs to make omelets. Today I'm out here with Tim Holloway, Mike Whitaker, Mark Story. Tim's our manager for our Roads and Bridges Department. Mike's our Special Projects Crew manager, and Mark is our Operations manager. And I wanted to have a talk with you guys today about what all y'all do for the county. So right now we're standing in a dog park at Martinez Park, and this is one of the projects y'all actually built. Tell us about it.
We did. We was given the task when we come out here to look at this park, to build the park. Mike went back to the office, kind of sat down, we drawed it out on some paper, got all the scales like we wanted. And then we come out here with the equipment and took it off the paper, made it happen out here. And the dog park's what it is today. Did all the grading. It was a team effort. Rec department come out here and put all the fencing up and stuff. And we did all the grassing and all. So.
Yeah, a little team effort. So the rec departments are end users, so they had an idea what they wanted, and they turned to y'all to implement it for them.
They did. They did.
What else y'all doing for us? I know y'all did a bunch of sidewalk work out at Riverwood.
We did. Out there at General Woods. We connected the middle school and the high school and their multi-use trail out there with a sidewalk, run it up through the, kind of wind it up through the woods up and made a beautiful sidewalk project up there. Helped the kids getting back and forth to school there at Greenbrier.
Yeah, big improvement out there. So
big improvement.
Safety concern with the parents out there with their kids walking beside the road. So now they're off the road on a safe sidewalk getting to school. I know y'all worked hard out on Smith Crawford doing some drainage stuff for us. That's the other thing that y'all tackle for the county is outside of the stormwater area, y'all are responsible for drainage. So what kind of things y'all doing out there?
We put in a ditch out there that relieved some of the water running down on a property owner out there. That was a big help to him. We diverted it back through a ditch down to the property line. and help those property owners out there where their water was actually running across their property. Put it in a ditch section and run it down between two properties out there.
Improve the drainage on the whole scheme of things out there, roadway and off-site.
Well, Tim, I know you've got a very diverse team. You have the ability to do things on a maintenance type schedule where you got your potholes, your grass cutting, but you got special projects where you get to do a variety of a lot of stuff, and we depend on y'all to do a lot of out-of-the-box type thinking projects. And one of the ones we did was some speed humps behind the government complex. We had some traffic issues, and so we got y'all out there. Tell us about that project.
They overlaid, they come in and paved Faircloth Drive, and then they asked us to put speed tables in. Well, they wanted them made out of concrete, built out of concrete. So we got in there and tore all that out, the areas, and designed concrete speed tables in there. And that's what we have today, is those concrete speed tables. We never made any out of concrete.
So last year we put a bid out to do some irrigation, some beautification on Washington Road, and then we asked y'all to step in and kind of expand that project. We ended up buying the old Garner's car lot, so now county-owned piece of property, and we asked y'all to do that, and then we handed y'all that project. So tell us about the beautification out there, what it involved.
Our special project teams, Mike's team and all, once y'all purchased the property, we come in, had the old trailer moved out, and Mike and them graded that lot off, got it ready for grassing. I think our contractor come in and planted the trees, did the grassing and all there. And now we have a landscaping team that stays down there every day, keeping the trash picked up, the brush and all trimmed, and keeping the grass and all cut on it.
And that's from the county line all the way to
Columbia Road.
Yeah,
to
so
Columbia
it's a
Road.
good
Yep.
stretch.
Yep.
So again, thinking outside the box, we utilized y'all on a major road construction project. So as y'all are aware, we're designing and soon to be putting out to bid Harding McManus Road. And one of the requirements is to remove a lot of stuff off the right of way that we purchased. So instead of putting that out to bid, we actually called Roads and Bridges and said, hey, can you help us? Tell us what all you did for us out there.
That's kind of one of the first times we've been involved in a big project like that. We had a crew come in and remove all the structures, marquee signs, the columns that was built in these, at the entrance to these subdivisions down through there. And a lot of the residents had brick head walls that we removed. So that was it started there at Highway 28 and went all the way down to where Harding McManus Road and William Few connect right there. That was about a month and a half, 2-month project there, getting all that cleaned up.
So it's a great way to utilize staff that we already have here, working every day to do something versus putting out the bid. So again, thinking outside the box, utilizing the talents that your team has to take projects that we would have to normally bid out, and we can bring those in-house, we can do them faster, we can do them cheaper, we can have more control over what's going on. So I do appreciate everything you guys are doing. You know, Mark, you guys are doing a great job of keeping our right-of-ways looking good, keeping the roads looking good, our grass cut on the side of the roads. Mike, your special projects team coming out and doing things like this, creating projects that our citizens come out and enjoys. Tim, you got a great team. We appreciate everything you do. We're looking forward to a great 2025 as well. So now I'm out here with Kyle Titus. He's the Director of Engineering Services. We want to talk about what we got planned for the future. So Kyle, we're currently at Harding McManus Road. So tell us what you got going on here.
Sure, so Harding McManus Road, I know a lot of residents have been curious about this road. They've heard about it in the TIA and the upcoming TIA 2 project list. It's a 5-mile stretch of Harding McManus. We're going to widen from Furious Ferry all the way to William View Parkway. It's currently 2 lanes, 1 lane in each direction, and we're going to make it 3 lanes. It's going to have a 2-way center turn lane. It's also going to have 3 roundabouts, one at Dolphin Way, one at Halele Farm, and also one at Aylesbury. So we're excited about this project. It's going to also have a 5-foot sidewalk on the north and a 10-foot multi-use path on the south. And it's going to be under construction, we hope, right after Masters of this year. And it's going to be about a 5-year project. So we're asking now for patience as we get underway.
To 5 years of actual construction time. Is that because of the roundabouts? Those typically delay construction. They're hard to build.
Yeah, so it's a lot of clearing to do. It's a lot of utility relocation. So like some of our other projects, you'll see all the work going on, but you don't see a lot of road building, so to speak. But there'll be utility relocations going on for a couple of years, and then they'll actually start constructing the road. So that's when you'll see the road start coming out of the ground in about 3 years. And it's a long road. It's a 3-mile stretch. It's going to take a while, but it's again, it's 3 roundabouts, and you're right. The roundabouts take a little longer to construct with traffic control.
So Kyle, tell us, why did you decide to go with roundabouts those 3 locations?
So the good thing about roundabouts is they're highly efficient and they're a lot safer because you remove the left turn conflict. So traffic's able to enter, there's less conflicts, there's less delays, so they just work a lot better moving traffic volume, and they're much more safe.
So tell us what the look of the road is going to be. I know we're widening it, but tell us again, lanes each direction.
Sure. So it'll still be 1 lane in each direction, 1 lane westbound, 1 lane eastbound. There'll be a 2-way left turn center median throughout, and there'll be select right turn lanes at the high volume intersections with the neighborhoods.
We do have to cross the railroad track as well, so tell us about that.
So the big thing with the railroad track CSX right west of Dolphin Way is the construction's going to be take a little longer because we have to meet railroad specifications. And the only change you'll really see is the multi-use path on the south of the road is going to taper down from 10 foot to 5 foot and go through what they call a Z-gate or a switchback. And it's basically to make sure pedestrians stop, pay attention to what they're doing when they're crossing that road.
We want to be safe when we're going across railroad tracks. I know we had to design it, we had to buy some right-of-way. We almost done with that?
Yeah, so the design's complete. The right-of-way just got certified, which is a process that we have to go through with federal funding, when federal funding is involved. It just got certified, so we're actually able to let the project now for construction. So we'll advertise in the coming weeks, and again, hope to let and be under construction by shortly after Masters.
Talk to us about Horizon South. You recently got that one under construction.
Yes, sir. So Horizon South's been under construction for a year and a half or so. It's a $22 million construction contract. It's widening from south of I-20 along Horizon South all the way to Wrightsboro Road in Grovetown. We're taking that road from 2 lanes to 5 lanes or 4 lanes with the center median. It's going to look just like Lewiston does north of I-20, but we're going to take it all the way to Wrightsboro Road. Again, it's a $22 million construction contract, and we have about 2 years or so left on that project.
I got you. So when did we start that project, or start design?
We started design around 2016, 2017, and just let it for construction in 2022. So that goes to say how long these design processes take, how long the right-of-way acquisition phases take, utility relocations after that. So yeah, they take a while to get underway. There's a lot that goes into them, but we're finally underway on that one and making good progress.
How much longer do we think it'll take before we actually get traffic flowing on that road?
Probably about a year and a half before we start opening up lanes. It'll be 2 southbound lanes, 2 northbound lanes, but it'll probably be another 6 months, 18 months beyond that with weather delays to get it fully open and fully closed out with the contractor.
All right, and you got Hereford Farm Road. What kind of money we're spending there?
Hereford Farm Road's still a year and a half, 2 years out on design, but right now we're looking at 45 to 50 million on that. That's going to be a big one. And that's after the design phases and the right-of-way phases. So you can look at another 10 to 15 for all of that before each project starts.
You mentioned earlier we're working on Hereford Farm. You're in right-of-way acquisition right now?
Yes, sir. We're just beyond halfway on the right-of-way acquisition. I think we have 270 parcels or something that we have to acquire right-of-way on. And we're just beyond halfway there, so still probably 18 months or so before we're wrapped up on the right-of-way acquisition. We're able to certify that, and we actually let the project for construction.
All right, so when you actually get out to build the project, what's it going to look like?
So Hereford Farm Road it's a 5.5 mile stretch of road. It's going to be from Bel Air Road just beyond Lake Jean, a half mile or so. It's going to be 3 lanes. We're going from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. And then once you pass Lake Jean, it's going to open up to 4 lanes with a concrete median. And it'll be 4 lanes all the way down to Lewiston Road at Columbia, where it ties in now.
So tell us why there's a change in design when we get to the Lake Jean area, from Lake Jean to Bel Air.
There are a lot of environmentally sensitive areas and archaeological areas in that little stretch, and being that we're right there at the intersection with Bel Air Road, there's a lot of traffic that's unloading on Bel Air. We don't see the volume of traffic needed to push the full 4-lane section yet, and we think that the 3-lane section will suffice for the next 15 to 20 years.
So when you start designing these projects, obviously you got to get some traffic studies. So is DOT, who's got some oversight on this project, does DOT have influence over what we can build out there based on traffic volumes and predictions?
We like to use DOT standards because they've been around a long time. They're always under scrutiny, and they're typically very up to date with common engineering practices. But we don't have to follow DOT's on standards on Hereford Farm Road because it is a county route. That said, there is a funding component to where some of the funds originally were federally funded. So we have to work through that process to make sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
Multi-use trail, sidewalks, anything other for the pedestrians out there?
There will be sidewalks on both sides all the way from Bel Air Road to Columbia Road.
I got you. Same with Horizon South?
Yes, sir.
And you've already got them on Lewiston Road?
Yes, that's correct.
So when we get Hereford Farm and Lewiston's already built and Horizon South's finished, when we get all three of those projects, Hereford Farm, Horizon South, Lewiston, you'll have a sidewalk network from Grovetown all the way to Evans.
And that's the goal when we make these large investments like each of these projects we've been discussing. We're not just building it for the folks in cars and trucks. We're also trying to look out for the pedestrians as well.
Well, Kyle, appreciate that information. So as you can see, we got a lot of stuff that's already been happening on this road, but a lot more to come. We're going to start making that road construction happen. Going to be a 5-year process to get those 3 miles built. So again, Kyle, thank you for your hard work on this. We look forward to seeing the finished product. I'm out here with Stacy Gordon, Director of our Water Utility Services. Stacy, tell us a little bit where we're at today.
We're at our Jim Blanchard Water Treatment Plant. This is our largest plant in the county.
And this is where you make drinking water?
Yes, correct.
All right, so you've been doing some improvements out here recently. Tell us about some of the improvements you've made.
Yeah, we recently did a UV AOP treatment project. It's about a $13 million project. We were trying to treat for taste and odor because we were having algae blooms in the lake that cause your water to smell a little musty, taste a little funny. But we didn't want to spend the money just to treat for that. So we researched several different projects, found out 3 different treatment processes and selected one. So we have a UV, hydrogen peroxide treatment process that will treat for taste and odor, but it also treats for many emerging contaminants that are on the watch list with the EPA.
I got you. So the method you chose, it took us a while to get EPD to permit it. Why did it take so long?
It's the first in the state of Georgia, so it was something we had to kind of train them on. They weren't familiar with the process. This will be the second one in the southeast that's been built, but it is a very common treatment process in the United States, primarily in the northeast and west. It's also very common in Europe, treatment process.
One thing you said is it's not just going to do the things we've identified today, but it's getting ahead of the curve for things that may come in the future, guidelines?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hopefully set us up for the future.
So we're getting ahead of the curve. We're putting in things today that are going to help us prepare for the future without having to make more improvements in the future. So overall, it's more than just a taste and odor thing. It's getting us ready for what's to come.
That's correct.
I got you. What did it cost us to do this?
$13 million.
$13 million. And how many gallons a day are we producing at this plant?
We can produce up to 45.9 million.
So about right at 46 million at this plant. Overall, your system can do?
About roughly 54 million gallons.
54 million of drinking water a day. Our peak day, hot summer day, no rain?
About 36 million.
So with the improvements you've made, you got about 54 million gallons of capacity. We're not using that much, so you're set up for the future. You've got cutting edge technology to make sure we're able to treat things that may come in the future that we don't have to treat today. Anything else you want to tell us about the system?
One thing we have learned from a lot of our places in the Northeast, when you do get these algae blooms on occasion, and you've seen like places like Toledo where 400,000 people back in, I believe it was 2011, were without water. Well, this will treat for that. So we can ramp our system up, have it operational, and never be without water. So we are forward thinking in setting this process up.
So speaking of not being without water, if an algae bloom were to occur, during the hurricane, we didn't have to shut down, so you were able to keep your system up and running the entire time we were without shore power. Tell us how you did that.
Tough. It was not an easy process. That the whole team came together, including departments outside the water utility or divisions. Roads and Bridges was a huge help to keeping the roads clear so we can actually get access to our different facilities, because that morning of, started getting phone calls probably a little before 6. We didn't have a single lift station, pumping station, elevated water tank, water plant, wastewater plant that had power. Georgia Power was completely knocked out to all our facilities, and we were running off generator, and it was very tough. We had our generator down at our raw water pump station, not transfer power, so we were a little worried about maintaining service to the county, but Roads and Bridges came through. Our conveyance group started clearing roads, and they were able to work together and get access so we could transfer that generator on and begin to treat water again here at the plant, because for several hours we were just pumping off our clear wells and supplying water to the county. So it was difficult keeping generators fueled, but the county came together as a team and did a phenomenal job to maintain water to all our citizens.
I completely agree. Yeah, just so I know, we got calls from outside of the county as well. Some hospitals were calling us asking for help keeping the hospitals operational. We were pumping water to our neighbors in Richmond County to help keep them flowing as much as we could. So
we had a challenge. So we were only able to produce 15 or 16 million gallons at a time for a few days until all that muddy water was able to move past our intake, and we were able to get some cleaner water that was easier to treat. So we had a few nerve-wracking moments, I guess I'd say, during the storm, but Fort Gordon was sending water buffaloes over for us to fill up. We have a filling station over there on William Few. Doctors Hospital was sending water buffaloes, and those are just big tanker trucks to haul water. We were able to fill several of those up and kind of keep them water so they could replace chiller water so they could keep their air conditions cool. There was a huge effort to helping our neighbors also.
Well, Stacey, we thank you for your hard work that you and your division do. Thanks for keeping the water on for us. Thanks for everything that you do to make our community great. I'm with Paul Scarberry, who's our Development Services Director, and I'm also talking with Scott Sterling, who is our Planning Services Director. So, guys, we've had a fun, busy year. So, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about the planning side? What kind of new developments have you seen this year, and what can we look forward to in the future?
Yeah, we've had a couple of new developments come in this year. We had Branch Springs, which is a planned unit development, a little bit of commercial, number of different residential uses in there. And then adjacent to it is also some more commercial and a little bit of industrial. So a little bit of everything in that development. We've had a number of revisions to some of our existing single-family developments. Number of variance requests, change of height of a sign, or whether that's a setback here or there, fences. We've had a number of those this year. So just a little bit of everything, just enough to keep us busy.
Okay, so that Branch Springs you were telling us about, that's out towards Grovetown, just outside the city limits?
Yep, just south of the Gateway interchange there, where the commercial development, the hospital and all that. It'll be just south of that, between there and the city limits of Grovetown. There's a collector road that the taxpayers voted on and approved, so that's part of that project, is to build that road first. It'll connect from Chamberlain Road to Horizon South, and then with a roundabout kind of in the middle of that site, and then head up to Gateway Boulevard and connect right there behind the Chick-fil-A and the Aldi's.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it'll help alleviate some of that traffic congestion on the south side of the interstate.
So that was an example of the county working on a project and then a developer coming in and working around as well. So looking forward to next year, I know you got a big project you're working on, our comprehensive planning document that we use. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so every 5 years we do a comprehensive plan, which is our vision document for the county. That is basically where we are, what we are going to do, and how we're going to get there. And we're looking for a lot of public feedback. So in the coming weeks, we will put out a schedule of kind of what we anticipate to be, kind of the months at which we'll be looking for public involvement. We'll be meeting with folks in the community, in different parts of the community. We're going to try and get out in the community and get some of that in public involvement, and looking for feedback, looking for things that the community wants to see, things they don't want to see, gather as much of that information as we can, and then we'll begin to write the plan with our consultants towards the end of 25.
That'd be great. Yeah, a lot of public involvement. We want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. We definitely need that input from you. So keep an eye out for those meetings. We'd love to have you come out and tell us what you think about our growth and how you think it should be. Yep. So Paul, once Scott's division works on getting the plans to the Planning Commission, to the Board of Commissioners, you get your team involved with the vertical development. So tell us what you've been working on this year.
Right. Yeah, as soon as, like I said, Scott's people get everything in place and we move forward on that, it really opens up a lot for us on the commercial and residential side of work, on which leads to the numbers increase that we've seen over this past year. We're up about 25% on the residential side and probably about 12% on the commercial side. Like you said, with all that growth that comes in, that planning works through up front, it gives us that opportunity it gives the developers a lot of opportunity to build out some of that commercial growth, and then following that, the residential rooftops come in play. with that, like I said, there's a lot of work with the inspectors in the field taking on all those additional inspections that will follow suit with that, as well as the plan reviews that we do in-house here. We've seen a good bit of commercial, because commercial fluctuates a good bit depending on rooftops. So we have seen, like I said, that uptick in the commercial side of things. We've seen, even over here in the town center area, we've seen the premier apartments, come online, and those starting to fill up as well. And then the commercial, the retail part of that is coming online. You've got a tavern starting in there, and another a sandwich shop on the other end of that little part of that little development there. And then in the Mayball building, we have another tavern going in there that's in the process of being constructed. A lot of good growth throughout the county. On the Westlake side of Westlake Commons, just the entrance off of Fears Ferry, we've got good development going on there. Got another restaurant looking to open up. We got some plans on that we're reviewing now. Look forward to all the growth. We've got, of course, the hospital still growing out there. They've made really good progress there throughout 24. And as everybody knows, and everybody's been dealing with the hurricane, permits increased about 30-some-odd% since the hurricane, based on a lot of repair work that's been done. A lot of the residential builders, as well as some of the commercial, have got into putting some of their stuff on hold in order to get into helping the citizens out, so, which has been truly beneficial for us all to get everybody back to normal as quickly as possible. So we're looking forward to a good 2025.
Yeah, great. Man, I'm excited. I heard you say 4 new restaurants there.
Yeah.
You just about 4. 3 in the town center area here, and 1 off of Furious Ferry. And from what I understand, 3 of those 4 are not chain-style restaurants.
That's
Those
correct.
those are kind of unique to our area. So
That is correct.
that's awesome. Looking forward to that. So thank you for what y'all's teams do. Without y'all working hard every day, we wouldn't see the managed growth that we're having. So thank you for what you do. I'm here with Mike Ziner, who's the manager of our Stormwater's Operations Department, and we're out here on the pass. Behind us, we have one of the projects you recently completed. So tell us a little bit about what you had going on behind us.
Yeah, Matt, this is one of the projects we identified during our MS4 inspections as a possible road failure. It took about a year to come up with a plan to do this project, and then we started the project. It's a replacement of existing 114-inch double run of CMP pipe, and we replaced it with a 24 by 11 foot bottomless arch culvert.
So CMP pipe, that's corrugated metal piping.
Metal pipe.
We got a lot of that in the county.
We do, yes.
And tell us the problems with it.
So the problem with it is just age. It's a metal pipe. It's in the water. Different acids in the soil tend to corrode it. It's just like everything else. It's got a lifespan.
Got a lifespan, and the constant friction of the sand running through the bottom of the pipes, the acids, the water, the rust, just they have a lifespan, and we got to repair them. And you went with a bottomless culvert here, so now the water's flowing on natural ground.
That's right. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that.
So tell us about some other projects. I know we are in Miramar also, so what'd you do there?
So we're over in Miramar. We had an existing drainage ditch that was approximately 1,700 foot long. It's badly eroded. It's been there since the early 70s, I believe, and trees were falling in it. It was clogged up, causing flooding issues and erosion issues. So we were able to go in and actually pipe this drainage ditch. And the good thing about that project is that was property that the homeowners owned that they didn't even know they owned. So we were able to enclose the ditch, put in weird traps to catch the waters coming from the yards, and a lot of the property owners were able to get 30 to 50 foot of property that they didn't even know they owned to use.
You had to reclaim the property they owned and just never had use of because of a ditch that was there. What are the kind of projects we doing throughout the county? I know you got a maintenance crew that's out there every day just maintaining things. What do they do?
We got a maintenance crew that goes out and we do the projects inside the neighborhoods. This year they replaced almost a mile of storm drain pipe, and that's going in yards, replacing sod, removing fences, putting fences back up. So they're pretty tedious projects. We also have a big project over here at Butterfield Court that once it's complete, it's going to help with some of the flooding issues. It's a big detention pond that we expanded that's going to hold water and let it release in a timely manner during these big rain events. We've got several other projects. We've got over 4,000 foot of CMP pipe again that we're UV lining over in Pheasant Run. So we've got a lot of resources and we're trying to use them wisely.
So the UV lining, you're basically pulling a new liner through that, so you don't have to dig, you don't have to dig up old pipe. You pull a liner through it and cure it in place, and basically have a new pipe inside of the old existing pipe.
We do, and once it's completed, the old CMP pipe, it's actually just a hose at that point. It can totally rot away, and it doesn't, at that point, it doesn't even matter anymore. That UV lining is the actual pipe.
Right, so. Mike, I know you have a big crew that's out there every day doing a lot of work in the stormwater utility district, and we appreciate all you do. I know that we've come a long way with your department in a few short years, so thank you for everything you do. Appreciate your hard work. Everything you do for the county is much appreciated. So as you can see, we've had a very busy 2024, and 2025 is shaping up to be just as busy. So our staff's out here working hard for you every day. We hope that you're seeing some of the improvements, and we look forward to everything we're going to accomplish next year.
Hello everybody, I'm Columbia County Manager Scott Johnson here, coming to you again with our year in review. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. We've got a lot of great information to give you. Today we're going to be talking about Building A and some other construction projects we have. And right now I'm going to be joined by our new Capital Projects Manager, Stephen Prather. Stephen, welcome.
Scott.
So not new in the sense of being with us. You've been with us a while, but you have a brand new title as you take on additional projects for the county, building our things like our Building A and our Justice Center.
Yes, sir. So we got a lot going on this year. Right behind us, Scott just mentioned our new Building A is coming up and our Justice Center renovation project. So together, Scott, that's about $55 million worth of construction going on.
So both of these approved by the voters. These are both voter approved
yes, sir.
SPLOST projects.
Yes, sir. So Building A is a PFA bond project. Justice Center renovation is a 1722 SPLOST project.
So let's talk about Building A a little bit. So really on this side, Building A, people want to know why are we building a new Building A? Our current Building A is in pretty bad shape.
Scott, we've been planning this for years, and I know you have too, before I joined the county. Building A, the existing Building A is in disrepair. It's undersized, heavily used. So we've planned this new Building A to be about 80,000 square feet, 4 stories. And it's really a conglomeration of multiple departments coming together now to maintain operations a little bit more efficiently. We will be redesigning the site for better traffic flow. So really the Justice Center and Building A working together now for a much better campus.
That's great, and hopefully I think this building will be the building that will last our needs for a long time. I know we have some shell space in this building, so we're not just building it out day one. Like currently, I don't believe we have a single office available on the complex to put somebody in.
Right, Scott. So good point about the shell space. A lot of our new projects we are planning for future growth. Over the last 20 years or so, we've completely run out of space. So having shell space not only in Building A, but also the Justice Center too, Scott.
Yeah, perfect. So let's talk about timeline on Building A first. So we've started the construction. Obviously, it's been designed. It's going up right now. What's the timeline? Are we on schedule?
Yes, sir. On schedule. We have 2 phases of this project. So phase 1, we will complete the building and we will move in the first part of January 2026. After that, we will start our second phase, which is tearing down existing Building A and all the site work associated with our new traffic plan and wrap up that project, as well as tying our site into the Justice Center expansion.
As Stephen mentioned, Building A is not just a place to house government workers. This is an opportunity for the public to be able to come to the county, be able to get any business you need to get done in the county. We're trying to be more efficient by doing those things. Now let's talk about our Justice Center. This building has been around since the early 2000s, and it's hard to believe that it's been here almost 25 years. But talk about the Justice Center. What are we doing over here?
Sure, Scott. So we are adding 2 wings to the Justice Center. As you mentioned, it was built in the early 2000s. Again, it needs a lot of renovations. All the systems inside, HVAC, lighting, all those systems will be upgraded in this construction project. So 2 wings, about 25,000 additional square feet, a total of about 95,000 square feet, a new courtroom, shell space like we mentioned earlier, a new jury assembly room, and then we actually are going to go inside and phase multiple renovations throughout the other courts.
It's already a pretty big building, so what are we doing?
So this is a almost $26 million project, so there's a lot of small pieces and parts that go into this renovation. Probate court, magistrate court, clerk of court, All of these are getting renovations, they're expanding their footprint. The 2 new wings will allow that to happen. It's a multi-phase project while maintaining operations of the courthouse, which is a pretty tough thing to do. Security is obviously our number one priority for them. So we're expanding the security offices upstairs and allowing a little bit more secure control of the building as well.
Yep. And as you know, obviously we have our own judicial circuit now, so Columbia County is a standalone judicial circuit. The efficiency of operations is important to us. So I know we bought a building across the street for the Justice Center Annex, and we have our district attorney over there. Why can't we just put everybody in one spot?
So as well as at the Justice Center Annex as well over there, we have the juvenile court. So here in the Justice Center, the additional 1 courtroom is really for the expansion of Superior, Magistrate, and Probate Court to use. So it allows their schedules to be a little bit better, and the additional jury assembly space as well will help improve their efficiency.
And we still have a courthouse in Appling, in historic Appling. That is the county seat. That is still our courthouse, right? This is the Justice Center. We have the Justice Center Annex. So we don't want anybody to get confused. We're not doing away with our historic courthouse in Appling, Georgia. We still hold court there, and I believe it's the oldest still continuing court in Georgia. Well, Stephen, thank you for your time. I know you're an extremely busy guy with all the construction projects going on in Columbia County. I know that you have your hands full, but you're doing a great job for us, so thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Columbia County EMA Director Sean Granado. Sean, thanks for joining me as we continue our series about what's happening in Columbia County in 2024. So obviously we've had a busy end of 2024, but let's talk a little bit about what EMA has done to maybe prepare us for this, or what else have you done this year?
Well, that's just it. Our biggest thing that we like to do is just educate and talk to the public. You know, this year our goal was to have 12 or 15 public outreach meetings. We had, I think, 58 or 60. We started the new community awareness and preparedness program that we had our first class. So anything we can do is just to get more education, you know, out to the folks about how to be prepared for something like this. We went on the morning mix. We went on Austin Roads a few times just to get people how common it is, not something as big as Helene, but where you can be out of power and out of supplies for 2, 3, 5 days.
So talk about maybe some of the grants. I know we spent a lot of time writing grants, looking for grants, and some of those things kind of get us prepared for this. I know we had some generators in the past that kind of got some of our buildings ready. So what are we doing to?
Well, the last big generator grant that we had was in response to Hurricane Michael, which was in 2018.
Yep.
We literally just got paid for that, or actually we're in the process of getting paid for that right now, and that came out to a total for all the different generators about $1.3, $1.4 million. So we're actually working on that paperwork to go buy one for the exhibition center, which could potentially help serve as a kind of a home base for a lot of different people during a situation like Hurricane Helene. So over that time, we ended up getting, I think, 9 different generators.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that lets us have the county buildings ready when we have something like this. And you were talking about coordinating efforts and that sort of thing. Let's talk a little bit about the EOC. I tell you, I think, you know, my experience in the EOC, especially during Helene, really for every event we've ever had, but especially during Helene, there was just so much synergy in that room. People working together and all the departments working together. So, I mean, how do you pull that off?
Well, it's not me. I think the thing that we tried to do as emergency management agency is make sure not to change how people do their jobs from what they do during a normal basis. So what we do is we practice. We practice everything that we do from an EMA perspective based on how they do their normal everyday operations. So what I like to say is we have normal operations during emergency conditions, or during emergency situations, or during declarations. So we work with all of our different departments: water, GIS, roads and bridges, permitting, everybody. Actually, our LEPC, that, you know, we used to have 8 people come to that. Now we have 40, 45. We had 52 folks show up. So you saw a lot of those people there during the EOC activation. So we know who we can lay eyes on when it's time, when an event happens, so we don't have to scramble around and figure out who we need to talk to at Georgia Power, who we need to talk to at AT&T. All of those people are a part of our team so everybody can talk to each other at once rather than having to scramble around and track people down.
Yeah, and I think it was great. I tell you, just from my point of view, being able to walk into the EOC or spend a lot of time in the EOC, being able to look up at the board and see where our assets are, you know, to understand that maybe we have generators that need to be refueled and how we're going to coordinate those efforts to be able to keep our radios up and running. Fortunately, we had a generator there, but we were able to keep our communications up with our radios working, and that way we could have people respond to the folks in the county that really needed our help the most. So really, I mean, the hurricane obviously was the big deal in 2024 for us. I mean, we've never been hit this hard. So we're here at a debris site today. This is one of 13 or 14 now, I believe.
Yes, sir, and we just put in for another one this morning.
Okay, so talk about what happens once it gets here.
So you're right, and I'll even take a little step back further. The trucks that we have on the road, you know, we had 50, 60 trucks on there for a while. Now we have 137, and it just increases. And I really want people to understand that it's just not Columbia County. We're fighting for equipment with all of Georgia, all of North Carolina, all of Florida, South Carolina. Everywhere in the Southeast got hit with these storms at the same time. But we have to make sure that once it gets picked up, that's not the only thing. You see the trucks out there that are offloading. We also have trucks that are out there chipping the debris so we can actually transport it more to our final place. We have to document it from the time we pick it up on the side of the road, from the time that it's dropped off here, it's chipped down, it's broken down, and then we take it to its final resting place, what FEMA calls it, from cradle to grave. We have to take pictures and document that the entire time. So there's a lot more going into it than just picking it up on the side of the road. And the citizens play a big part of that too. You know, they take all the time to put it out on the side of the road. Well, then it's our job to take care of it once it gets picked up by our trucks, brought out to the facilities, and then again taken to its final resting place.
And so, I think for the citizens to understand, this is a huge undertaking for us. I know I've authorized up to $50 million so far. Folks, we don't have $50 million laying around in Columbia County. I don't think we'd be good stewards of your tax-paying dollars if we had that kind of money laying around.
Yes, sir.
We don't have that, so we're having to front the money. Hopefully we're going to get that reimbursement. I know you and your team are working hard on that paperwork you talked about.
Yes, sir.
And that's some of the reason that I guess people are getting frustrated, because they're saying, you know, they're not picking it up this way, or they're not picking it up the right way, or they're not picking it up fast enough. All of that really has to do with this paperwork, and hopefully we can get our money back from the federal government, because without them we couldn't do this.
That's right, and that's the thing. A lot of people think that it's FEMA's boots on the ground out here picking it up. It's not. It's the contracts that we had in place that we go renew every year, that we've had this for debris monitoring and debris management, and then FEMA, kind of out of the kindness of their hearts, will reimburse us at the end of it, but that's all our contract. That's what we do. Then Ceres and Debris Tech, they're the ones that come out and monitor and pick everything up. And I don't know that I can explain in triplicate the amount of paperwork that we have to do to get this reimbursed. And we've already put in for one project for debris removal for an expedited project. So hopefully in the next week, we'll have about a $20 million cushion to come back to us so we can start, you know, getting that money reimbursed. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a $100 to $120 million project just for debris removal. That's how much we have. So we can't float that money, which is why we do this in stages as it goes.
So really great examples of why we need an EMA. Columbia County's EMA is really robust. If it weren't for the work that they did ahead of time, we certainly wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't be able to do this. I would hate to say that we would be in a community that we didn't pick up debris. And maybe there are communities out there that are not picking up debris at all. But Columbia County is doing everything we can. It's because these folks are working hard every single day to make sure that we're prepared when something like this happens. And this time we were.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and you have to tip your hats to the engineering department that's helping all these folks, because keep this in mind too, all these folks are from Louisiana and California and Oregon. They don't know the roads here, so Kyle and his team at engineering and roads and bridges, they're kind of tasked with pointing people in the direction, but there's still so much to pick up that you can tell them an area, but what neighborhood and what street, they're not going to get that until they get, you know, these 800 houses that are in the way to get there. So it's a big process. Really big.
Well, thanks for what you do, Sean. Thank you for your time today.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
So as 2024 comes to a close, hopefully you've had the opportunity to see some of the things we do here in Columbia County by watching these videos. We're extremely proud of our team and all the things we've been able to accomplish. From every single department working together to make this community what it is, to you, the citizen, doing your part to make Columbia County the best place to live, work, and raise a family. From our side, we're going to continue to do the things that we've been trying to do for so many years, whether that's reducing your taxes, cutting our budgets, or whatever it is that we can do. We're going to continue to work to try to make Columbia County the best place to live. So from all of us here in Columbia County, we hope you've enjoyed 2024, and we all look forward to 2025. We have some great things coming your way.